Films of 1971. Yeah, I'm trying something new here. Red Sun. Red Sun is an interesting little movie. It mainly reminds you that, like, while the common Hollywood parlance, the common Hollywood adage has always been that, like, the 70s saw the collapse of the studio system, that wasn't entirely true. Like, yes, in a broad sense it is, but, like, they were still studio movies that came out, and Red Sun is one of them. You can see this movie sort of as, like, Hollywood trying to bridge this gap, trying to say just, like, okay, can we still make these, like, very mainstream movies or movies that work in genres that we know and that we love and like have big stars in them and like still have them be successful if we like switch up the formula a bit. In this one, the formula, the bit is that this is a this stars four actors from across the globe essentially and stars big actors from foreign films. You have Curio Mafeshi, you have Alain Delon, you have Ursula Andress. I know I probably butchered those names, but basically, this is a movie that posits like, okay, can we make the Western work if we cast these like interesting actors who like young people seem into? And the answer is a resounding kinda. Red Sun isn't a great movie, but it's a watchable one. I had a decent time watching it, and for anything else, what I enjoyed most about it was the acting performances. This is essentially a movie where Charles Bronson, as like a no good scheming cowboy, has to team up with the honorable samurai played by Toshio Mifune. Again, probably mispronouncing the name. I'm so sorry to this man. And the two of them have to go on this adventure to reclaim a sword that has been stolen from an ambassador, and also to reclaim the money that has also been stolen from Bronson. So these two unlikely duo have to pair up and tour the place to find out what's going on. In some ways, it's like an interesting proto buddy cop movie, only it's also a western. Along the way, they pick up the beautiful but scheming Ursula Andress, playing like the villain's love interest who they have to get information from, but she kind of tags along, as they all have to stop like the evil villainous man from getting away with his crimes. It's a pretty simple plot, so it really does rely on the chemistry of these people, and I will say, for two people who have no reason to be in a movie together, the two actors really do get along, and they do really have like, it's not like the greatest chemistry ever, but they have a believable, easy chemistry, and the scenes where these two are together, they work. In some ways, I could see, though, that, like, this is doing things that are obvious. It's sort of just, like, this idea of, like, playing with the sandbox of, like, what if we put what we consider samurai traits into the Old West? So you have things like the cowboy complains about this foreign, bad-smelling food. Or, like, the honorable samurai doesn't understand what to do with a Western prostitute. Things like that. It's a little cliche, but it works. At least it works well enough. Again, I didn't think this was a great movie. I read the New York Times review of this movie, and I agree with it. It basically says, like, it's a movie that is occasionally entertaining. It has its moments. It's a fun time. I'm never bored watching it. I'm never think this is a bad movie, but it's not a movie I'm going to, like, return to. It's a perfectly passable time. It's not a great movie. And if anything, it reminds you that, like, the Hollywood studio system, for decades, it's not just, like, a new thing, has put out movies that were, like, okay, they're fine. It was okay. But there is one thing about this movie that I want to point out, which is its treatment of natives. You can see here at the top, there's this whole part where they are attacked by, I believe it is the Comanche. And I just find it so weird that we are like 20 years, 21 years at this point from Broken Arrow, which is a film that is very sympathetic to the natives. And more relevantly, we are 1 year out from Little Big Man, which was entirely, which is probably at the point the most sympathetic movie towards the native people at this time. And yet we are still also getting away with this? I don't get it. I'm not even upset about it. I'm just like, it feels anachronistic, really. I'm correct. I believe this is the only Western we're going to see this year. And if it's not this one, I think there's probably only like one. No, there's like one or two more, which kind of shows like the dominance of this genre has ended, and we are a bit anachronistic in making this genre at all at this point. Blazing Saddles will come in a few years and completely kind of wipe out the rest of this genre. But this is an example of, like, Hollywood's trying something new but still trying to get back to its old tricks, and it doesn't quite work. Still, I overall gave this movie a 60. It's a passable time. I'm not going to watch it again.